Mike, someone like Wemby, who's so unique physically and can do so many different things offensively, just what is the challenge of finding the right guy to match up with him, or how do you even go about starting to slow him down?
Well, you're not going to be able to guard a guy like that one-on-one. So, you know, you try to put length, size, physicality at the point of attack when it comes to him. But it's got to be five guys guarding the basketball at all times. We do that no matter who we're playing, but especially when it comes to a guy like Wemby, because at his size and his skill set, 9 times out of 10 he's going to miss because he misses. But we have some pretty good defenders with length, and hopefully they can, at the point of attack, try to make it as difficult as possible with them, knowing that they have help behind them.
Tim, here in the front.
Mike, everyone knows that there's a trophy and prestige and money and all that stuff at stake, and the game doesn't count. How do coaches sort of wrap their head around, what do I do in this situation? Like, heaven forbid, you don't want anything bad to happen. You don't want to overly tax guys, but they all want to win. Do you play it like it? Do you coach it like it really, like it counts?
Yeah, for sure. Because in this league, there's so many talented teams and individuals, and I tell our guys a lot of times what separates the great teams from the mediocre teams or the average teams, however you want to call it, is usually the ones that have the highest competitive spirit throughout the course of the roster and staff, and also the ones that really embrace the details, because guys are just that good, and that's why on any given night you can see a team that quote unquote is not supposed to win. People say, hey, you're supposed to be. No, you can't beat talented teams like that every night. And so, I feel like our staff and our players, our organization, starting with Mr. Dolan on down, everybody has a competitive spirit. Even Derek does too. I mean, you should see him after my interview sometimes, and after the game, he's just like, yes. So that competitive spirit exists throughout the organization, and then having a guy like Jalen as your leader who embraces the work, embraces the process, more importantly, embraces the details of what you need to do to go out there and win. Like, at his size, his athleticism, he doesn't have a lot of room or a lot of margin for error. So he embraces the little things, and that feeds off to everybody else. And so for us, we feel like we deserve to be here, and we want to take advantage of being here by going out and trying to get this win. That's Derek's alone.
Vince?
Mike, right around a year ago, the noise around the Kings began with you and job security and everything else. Do you take time to reflect on your journey from a year ago to here and what that means for you and how you feel?
The biggest thing, I want to thank the Kings for an opportunity. The vet gave me the opportunity to coach his team, and so I thank them for that opportunity. I'll always be grateful for everybody that's given me an opportunity, and so they're no different. We enjoyed the city of Sacramento, and thank the fans there. They were fabulous, and we lived in a great neighborhood. But in life, change happens not just for me, but for everybody else, and you got to be ready to pivot. And I feel fortunate, blessed, lucky, however you want to call it, to be in the situation here with the New York Knicks. You don't have a lot of control over your destiny or your path a lot of times, and so for me to be able to land within an organization like this with the type of players that are here, with the owner and Leon and his group, again, you just take advantage of it. So I don't have a lot of time to reflect on the past. I'm about being present and trying to figure out where we can go as an organization in a city going forward, and that's what I look forward to and am extremely excited about more than anything else on a daily basis.
On your left, second row.
Hey, Mike. So you're tomorrow night. You're going to play against someone that you have a lot of experience with in De'Aaron Fox. What is it like to play against him at such a high, on such a high, stage?
First of all, I tell you what, man, I'm so happy for not just Fox, but Fox's family. He's got a fabulous wife. I don't want to say, what up, girl? Fabulous, fabulous family. I couldn't ask for anything better for them because he's a fabulous young man. Everybody sees him out there on the court and sees his speed and how he is as a player. But if you ever got a chance to get to know him and his family, you'd be really honored because they're really good people. And then, same with Harrison Barnes. Again, feel fortunate, blessed, and lucky to be around both those guys. They're both tremendous human beings on top of being great basketball players. So I applaud both of them for getting to this point. I hope you both don't win any more games while we're here in Vegas. But they're tough. HB shoots the ball well at an extremely high level. His presence, he's got a calmness about him that just settles their whole team down. They got a young team, but they're not going to get too high nor too low because I truly believe, because it was how it was for us in Sacramento, because of HB's presence and his calmness. He never gets too high. He never gets too low. So that keeps him even keeled, and you need to have that throughout the highs and lows of a basketball game, let alone a season. And then Fox, shoot, you got to deal with his speed. You got to deal with his medium game. You got to deal with his ability to get to the rim. And if you're not careful, he's so athletic and strong and explosive, he'll dunk on you. So you got to get there early to help out. And then he's worked his tail off to be able to shoot the three, and he's shooting that at a high level while getting to the free throw line at a high rate. And then defensively, I told him this from day one since we were together. He can be one of the best two-way players out there, and he shows it. Hopefully you don't show it tomorrow, Foxy, but he shows it, and that's what makes him dangerous on both ends of the floor.
Thank you, Coach. Jalen will be right in.
Thank you.
Jalen, both semifinal games the other day were very competitive. How much do you think the NBA layering in multiple days of rest has led to the high level of compete?
I think it helps, and obviously gets the East Coast teams adjusted a little bit too. But yeah, it was very competitive, and it's a credit to the teams that are playing as well. And so guys are going out there competing, wanting to win. Trying to give their team the best opportunity to do so. And so it's a credit to the teams as well.
Mark, back left.
Hey, Jalen, over here. Just wanted to see what your initial reactions were when Mike got the job as a head coach, and also a couple months in now, what kind of impression has he made on this team?
Yeah, I was very excited when Mike got the job, and first thing we did, he called me, and we went to dinner and talked for like 2-3 hours, not really talking about anything basketball-wise, like X's and O's or Knicks-wise. We were just talking, and I really appreciated the time he spent coming down to see me, and it was great. It was a great first impression, and since then our relationship's grown. Our communication is great, and the way we talk about things, and haven't really had any negative conversations or anything like that. But he's been great, and the way he's holding all of us accountable, pushing us, and it's something that we need from him, and we're very, very thankful of him.
Front right.
So Wemby at his size and length, he's obviously one of the best shot blockers in the league. How do you counter that, and how cognizant do you have to be of that when you drive into the lane?
Yeah, you gotta find ways to pull him away from the basket, and you gotta obviously be smart, and you can't just go in there to think no one's going to come and affect the shot. And so he's great at what he does, and we just gotta be smart as a team, and playing off 2 feet, and reading where he is, and just trying to get the best shot as possible.
James.
Jalen, I know you've talked about one thing that you really like about the Cup is the opportunity for teammates who don't make as much as some guys and coaches to be able to have some type of financial success with that. To my knowledge, I think it's the coaches and the players. I don't know if the peripheral people get any money, but if they don't, do you and some of the guys who have been fortunate in this league talk about like how to share the wealth with everybody that's part of the organization, not just the people that get the money?
Yes, we have. Thanks for ruining the surprise.
Oh, I'm sorry. My fault.
Tim over here on the right.
Jalen, how outside of the money and the surprise and all that good stuff, but what's it like going into a game that you're going into it 18-7 and you're going to come out of it 18-7? What is that element like when it doesn't count in the standings? It just counts for the trophy and prestige and a check. What is that like?
You treat it like a regular game. You treat it like you would any other game. Honestly, it's yeah, that is what's at stake. Like, you're not winning or gaining anything on your record, but it's you're going out there competing. You know, you're playing for more than just yourself. You're playing for your team, your organization, and your city. It's there's a lot at stake besides the record. So you go out there and compete no matter what.
Rachel here in the front.
So much conversation going into the season, Jalen, about the level of play in the East, level of play in the West. Now that you've actually been about a third of the way through the season, where do you see the two conferences stacking up? Obviously, we're going to get a matchup tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think when you're playing in one conference versus the other, obviously it's you're going to have a little bit of bias, but it's great basketball. On any given night, someone can beat anybody, regardless of who you're playing. And so the West, obviously, they have great teams. What they've been able to do, obviously, since I've been alive, it's been a lot of West-dominated teams. But yeah, the conversation about the East being wide open, I'm not a fan of that. I think there's too many great teams and great players, regardless of who's out, that are still competing. And so you don't take anyone lightly. You don't take anyone for granted. You go out there and do what you got to do every single night. And so the East is it's a lot better than people think, and it's a grind every night.
Take last two in the back and over here.
Jalen, this is the biggest Knicks-Spurs game since the '99 finals. You were there.
I
know you were
was.
only like 3 years old. I'll be impressed. Could you name the starting lineup for the Knicks back in '99 when they were in the finals versus the Spurs?
Not Rick Brunson.
He was coming off the bench.
He was coming off the bench. Patrick Ewing.
No, injured.
Oh, he was injured.
Who filled in for him? I'll be impressed.
Was Chris Dudley starting?
No, coming off the bench.
All right, I'm going to go Allen Houston.
Yes, sir.
Latrell.
Yep.
Camby.
Bang. Two more.
Who did I say? I said Allen Houston. I said Latrell.
You need a point guard.
Larry Johnson.
At the 4 and point guard. Round it out. You got this.
Was it Chris Childs?
No, coming off the bench too. Come on. I'll give you a hint if you need it.
Give me a hint.
Historian, though. He knows.
Give me a hint.
He was a former Heisman Trophy winner at
Charlie
FSU.
Ward.
Yes.
Damn it.
You knew.
Damn it.
Appreciate you. Pretty good.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Last question, Vince over here on the right.
Jalen, it's
Yeah, that was just, you should have just said his name.
Jalen, it's pretty obvious the bond that you and Josh have together. When he was struggling early in the season with the injury and Mike getting to know him, what role did you take, maybe as a friend, as a teammate, maybe to encourage him if you did? Because once he's gotten back in the starting lineup, that's when you guys have taken off.
Yeah, unfortunately, me and Josh talk every day. But at the same time, everyone thinks it's all jokes and laughter. But there's times we actually have serious talks, and there's times where he picks me up when I need it, and I do the same. And the way he's able to control his mind when he's on the court, and then when he's working by himself when no one's watching, getting his confidence back and doing all that, a lot of people don't see that. And he's very nonchalant about who he is and what he does when it comes to the team. But he's an unbelievable worker, and he truly just wants to win. He's one of the biggest competitors I've ever met. He may not like to practice, but he will compete to the fullest level. And I mean, my role is just to be there as a friend, obviously, when things aren't going great, but continuing to push him, knowing that he is who he is for a reason. He's in this position for a reason. So go out there and do what you got to do. And at some point, he got it, and we're very happy for him, and we need him to continue to play at that level.
Thank you.
Just the challenge of facing Wemby and, you know, the size, and obviously we talk about the skill you have offensively, and he's sort of in that frame that another guy who can shoot from three and do all these odd things.
I mean, yeah, he's 7'5", and he's very talented. So, you know, for us, we're gonna have to do a good job of executing our defensive game plan and offensively as well. So, everything's for us is about execution. I think that's what's made us really good recently playing basketball, is our execution. So we just got to go out there and find a way to do that for 48 minutes.
Standing in the back.
Kat, I just asked Jalen. This is the biggest Knicks-Spurs game since the '99 finals. You're a New York, New Jersey guy. You were around. You were young, but you were around.
I did just bring that up too. It was
so Jalen went 4 for 5. Could you name the starting lineup the last time the Knicks were in the finals?
Sprewell and Tim Duncan were on the shirt. I know that.
Well, Timmy was on the Spurs.
Yeah. Marbury.
Nope.
No?
No.
Really?
He's early 2000s.
Tim?
Spree was a shooting guard.
Yeah. I would take a guess at that.
Point guard was Heisman Trophy winner. Number 21.
No. Red Florida State, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
Come on now.
His name.
CW.
Oh, Charlie Ward.
Yes.
Charlie Ward, Latrell Sprewell.
Small forwards in the front office.
In our small, Allen Houston.
Yes.
And
power forward, former number 1 pick. In '91.
You feel like I should know that, right?
You would know him though if I said his name.
It's not Tim Thomas, but it's
crazy 4-point play against the Pacers in '99.
I feel bad because I don't
LJ.
LJ, Larry Johnson.
Yes, sir. And who was the center? Round it out.
I mean, obviously it's not Ewing, but Tyson Chandler. No, not Tyson. That's too goals.
Too early.
Yeah.
Who backed up Pat? Former number 2 pick to the Raptors in '96.
Oak? Not Oak.
No. UMass legend.
Oh, Marcus Camby.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Shout out John Calipari.
Great job.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Right here in the front.
That was a long question, huh? Just ruined the whole press conference, huh?
That was a quiz.
Now the Spurs starting lineup. No.
Oh, shit. Manu, Toby, Tim. There you go.
This early in the year, early in Mike's tenure, just what would winning something, winning a trophy and having a tangible sign of success, mean so early in his Knicks tenure, or what would that represent?
I think the cup is big for us just for the energy it brings to our team, to have the opportunity, one, to win it, and, God bless we are to win it, do our part. I think it brings great energy to the team, a great mojo to the team, and it also brings that feeling of winning. It's when you, no matter if it's the cup, NBA Finals, winning anything, winning any game, when you get that feeling of winning, it's addictive. And obviously, I want us to have that mindset where we're addicted to the next championship. If we could win this one, so I think this is a great start for us to understand the standards needed to win at a high level, at a championship level, and also giving us that feeling of, there's nothing better than the belief when you could do something, and I think this will be a great start for us.
Over on your left.
Kat, your second year, Mike's first year, all the things. What's been an unsung element that has allowed this team to have this much success when you look at how potent you guys have been offensively?
I think it just falls down to the locker room, all those guys in that locker room willing to sacrifice and do whatever it takes to win. I think our team last year showed that in the playoffs when, it wasn't just one person, but a collective group of guys who were willing to make that one play needed to win the game, whether it was Mikal with a steal, Obviously, Jalen being the clutch player of the year, making a shot. OG dives on the floor for a loose ball. Mitchell Robinson gets the key offensive rebound. Deuce McBride, full court press, gets a steal. That one takes time off the game, but two gives us a chance to score and puts us in a better position. Landry Shamet, Cameron Payne, you could go down the list about, all the people who's really impacted winning for us last year. And I think, this team this year has the same philosophy. Whatever it takes to win, we'll do.
Standing on your left.
Hey, Charlie from Amazon Prime Latin America. So, Kat, I want to know.
Shout out to the Amazon Jordan Woods shirt, what I'm trying to say.
We want to know, being Dominican, and also David Jones Garcia being a Dominican, French players from the squads. I want to know, this is a celebration. This is a fiesta for us, right?
Yeah.
So what does it take to celebrate the NBA Cup and become a champion? What do you need to become an NBA Cup champion?
I think it's, you bring up the Dominican Republic and our team there. I think just like in the World Cup, I always preach to our guys was about execution. And in my experience playing basketball at this level, it's always been about the word execution. When you get to the finals, when you get to the playoffs and the conference finals, it's about who's willing to execute at a higher level and more consistently for 48 minutes. And that's why you hear so many coaches when you are on Amazon, they have that footage and stuff that they're always talking about executing, who's going to do it for longer, 48 minutes. And I think for us to win this, this cup, we're going to have to go out tomorrow, execute at a high level, and not only at that, and stay at that level for, a longer time than the Spurs. And that's what it's going to take. And it's going to take us to do whatever it takes to win. And like you said, it's a celebration for Latin America too, to have so many people on this big stage, especially Dominicans, let alone two of us going out there and doing what we do best. So yeah, it's a bunch of fun. I'm super excited that Latin America gets to get represented tomorrow, and hopefully the show's great.
Just one more question to add to that. There's a ton of Latin American talent coming forward. Karim Lopez probably a lottery pick next year.
Yeah.
Any advice you would give yourself whenever you were about to get to that draft pick?
Just keep your head down and stay focused on the task at hand. Take care of the present. And be willing to sacrifice whatever it is, whether it's that fun night out or that time with your friends to see your dream come true. And for me, when I was coming into the NBA draft and going through the process, I was just so proud to represent my Dominican roots through the process, and then also understood that making it to the NBA was the cool part, but staying in the NBA would be the hardest part of them all. So 11 years in, I still feel I'm finding success at this level, and I'm still blessed and bewildered that I'm still even in the NBA. But I'm just so honored that I get to, like you said, get to be up here at this stage at a championship game for the NBA Cup, speaking to the next generation about the experiences I've had.
Last two quick questions, Rachel and Tim.
Hey.
Hey.
Just want to know what the process of sort of working with a new coach from the start of the season, new offense, and sort of how that has gone, now that we're about a third of the way mark, how that adjustment went for you, kind of beat by beat?
Well, fortunately, I've had a lot of experience in it, unfortunately. And in doing, and going through that process so many times, I've always known that I got to control the man in the mirror first, and I have to be my best version so that when I come to the coach and we're building our relationship and we're going through the growing pains of learning, how to work with each other, that I'm presenting my best version. So we're working with a good foundation, and I think for me that's always been the focus. Make sure that I'm putting the work in, and make sure that I'm keeping a great positive mindset, and I'm letting that not only push the relationship between me and the coach forward, but also bringing great energy to our locker room for all of us that are trying to build that relationship with the coach, and try to make it a very inviting environment, and also an environment that is okay with questions being asked so that we can all grow together.
Tim, last question.
Kat, to go back to the Dominican/international theme for a second, what do you, with voting about to start and all that, what do you think of the U.S. versus World All-Star format?
We brought the Olympics over here. Nah, just jokes. I think it's cool. I think it's gonna be fun. I think that I go back to the rookie sophomore game when it became a USA versus World game, and I thought that the fans really enjoyed that. I had fun playing in that game. I don't know how I ended up on Team USA. We'll talk to Adam on that part. But I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Do you know what you're going to be for this one?
I have no idea.
Do you get to have any say?
I don't believe so. But I think it's gonna be fun, and I think that it also shows the growth of the NBA. To have such an international presence now in the NBA, and it shows that the game is truly global, and the NBA brand's global, and we truly have the best players in the whole entire world being represented by whatever country and how far it may be from America, that they're still being recognized by NBA organizations and talent and the scouts, and being brought here to NBA to showcase their talents to the world. And I'm also really happy that their countries get to be represented on a big stage like that in February.
Thank you.
Yeah.